Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 279. I am Andrew Eisen, and I need a haircut. Yes, I know, but I have not been busy. I've been lazy. I'll cut my hair eventually. At least I shaved. So, Chicago, hello. So, first, I would like to gripe about YouTube, the platform I am currently streaming this podcast on. No matter what I do, no matter what I say, at the end of the night, an hour or so from now, YouTube is going to flag this video as inappropriate for advertisers. Doesn't matter if it is, that's what YouTube is going to do. And I say this with confidence because this is what YouTube does literally every single week. Then I will mark it, then I will request a review, and a few days later it will be green checkmarked or whatever, and I will get an email. Usually, sometimes they don't send the email, but I'll get an email that says, "Great news! We reviewed your video and found out that it does indeed not run afoul of any of our terms of service. It's appropriate for all advertisers. We've reinstated it." Basically, YouTube admits to getting it wrong literally every single week. YouTube, as far as my channel is going, is literally batting zero. Which, kind of amazing. It's like, YouTube, are you truly that incompetent? Or are you doing it on purpose? Like, why? I mean, it's really no skin off my back. I don't really make any money doing this. Like the YouTube advertising, I pull in $100 or so every 2 years, which is nice, but you know, it's not really enough to make a dent in like my cost of living or anything like that. Hey, Lyrically C, haven't seen you in the chat in a while. Hope you're well. But YouTube, to its credit, will happily admit to its utter incompetence every single week. I mean, if I got it wrong, literally every single week, I would either fix my tools or give me the benefit of the doubt. It's like, well, I'm sure Andrew's gonna be, running afoul of our advertising or terms of service, advertising guidelines and terms of service one of these days. I'm sure one of these days we'll be right. So every week I get an email from YouTube that says, we screwed up, again, as always, as expected. But every month, at least for the past 5 years, working on a Saturday night, that blows. Glad to hear you're doing well, though. Chicago says, it is a problem with the bots, or is it people purposefully doing it so they can justify being hired to check channels that are flagged? I honestly don't get the sense that a human being is involved in any step of this process. My hunch, which is only a hunch, is that my videos are flagged automatically, and when they say we reviewed, they're lying. No one actually reviewed it. I don't believe for a minute that anyone is actually watching, that they paid some poor YouTube employee to sit there and watch my dumb podcast for an hour every single week. Maybe someone who works at YouTube is like a huge fan of this podcast and flags it every single week for an excuse to watch my podcast and get paid for it. You know what? I like that. That fires the furnace that is my ego. That's the story I'm going for. That YouTube is such a fan of mine that they flag my video just for the excuse to manually review it and get paid at the same time. That's what I'm going with. Jared says nope. Okay, fine. But in addition to YouTube inappropriately flagging my videos every single week, every month they send me an email showing me Here's how many minutes of video people watched. Some statistics, and the first statistic is new subscribers for the month. Every single month for the past 5 years, it's been 0. Chicago says, I'd flag your channel to get paid to watch it. Yeah, I mean, I'd flag my channel if I got paid to watch it too. So that's how YouTube's system works, you see. The people who work there just flag, they're like, I don't want to watch any of the dumb stuff the automated processes flag, so I manually flag the stuff I want to watch so I can watch that at work. So every month, for 5 years, YouTube has sent me a little infographic rubbing in my face the fact that I've had no new subscribers for 5 years. And I pulled up my channel analytics. And, oh look, it's Brian's cat. Oh, okay. So I pulled up my channel analytics. And here's my lifetime subscriber metrics. You can see that I started in, in 2011. That's when I put my first video up. The Nintendo, why won't you let me give you my money? And that instantly, you see almost a straight line up. I got like 300 subscribers overnight and had 1,000 subscribers after a few months. And then it just slowly and steadily kept climbing up until, oh my gosh, what happened at the start of summer 2017 where my subscriber just completely stops. It doesn't slowly taper off. It just, wham, just immediately flatlines. Huh. What did I do? You can see that in about sometime in 2020, something happened where it actually started going up again for a couple of months. Not for that couple of months. I got like so where it tapered off. I was at like 11,500 subscribers, and then until about 2020, it dropped to about 11,000. And then I gained about 300 more subscribers over the next couple of months. And then it flattened out again, and it's been slowly tapering off ever since. So, also, right where my subscribers tapered off, that's also when my viewership dropped significantly. Now, it's always been the case that I've had way less than like 10% of my subscribers actually watching my videos. Even when I had 10,000 subscribers, I routinely only had several hundred views per video. Sometimes several thousand, but on average I could expect, 700-800 views per video. That stopped right when my subscribers stopped. It dropped to what it is today, several dozen per video. And I'm not complaining. I don't begrudge anyone from unsubscribing or getting bored with me. My 15 minutes are over. Totally fine. But if it's something I did, okay. But that seems artificial to me. I don't know what YouTube did, but it does seem like YouTube did something. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just a conspiratorial thinking on my part. But I also today heard from was messaged by someone who was a viewer of my videos years ago, saying something along the lines of, "Hey, you're still producing YouTube videos. That's great. Good to see you still producing content. I remember that video you did back and blah, 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 blah." And a very nice, wonderful message. It made my heart all aflutter. It pumped up my ego balloon. But I get something like that a couple of times a month. A couple of times a month, I hear from someone who's surprised that I'm still making videos, because they were a subscriber years ago and had no idea. So, for some reason, hundreds and hundreds of my subscribers, from their perspective, apparently, I dropped off the face of YouTube at some point and stopped making videos. And that's the Valentine's Day thing, which I also, did some singing for. Not very good singing, but... 2020 is when I started Trails. Wasn't it 20? Well, I think I started Trails. God, I'd have to. I could. Why am I trying to figure that out? I could actually look. Let me look real quick. Was it fall of 2020? Let's see. Trails in the Sky. Boop doopy doo. Everyone. Okay, August 9th, 2020. So yeah, fall of 2020. And so right there, that looks earlier in 2020. I'd have to actually pull up my analytics again. But yeah, fall of 2020, or early August of 2020 is when I started. It's when I started Trails in the Sky. And what's interesting is, while YouTube says you 0 subscribers, well, that's not technically accurate. They only, if your net subscribers is a negative number, they just show 0. And my net every month for the last 5 years is a negative number. For example, for the past 28 days, I have negative 9 subscribers. However, I did. Where are my analytics here? Is it subscribers? There we go. So I did on let's see, on Friday I got 1 new subscriber. On last Sunday I got 1 new subscriber. But on Friday, March 11th, I lost a subscriber. Ooh, but on March 10th, 2 subscribers. Ooh, but on March 6th, minus 2 subscribers. Now that could be people unsubscribing, and I certainly do not begrudge anyone their decision. But it could also be just old closed accounts and stuff like that. I've been on YouTube for about 10 years, so it's perfectly conceivable that some of the accounts that originally subscribed to my channel are just no longer in existence. I mean, but some people have probably died. That's kind of a horrible thing to think about. Is, when you have 11,000 some odd people subscribe to your channel, some of those people have died statistically, and that's kind of sad. That's really sad. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. But really all I want is for everyone who wants to see my videos and would enjoy seeing my videos to have the opportunity to do so. Like, if everyone got bored with me at the same time and unsubscribed, okay. I mean, that hurts a bit, but yeah, okay. I accept that, but it feels to me like YouTube removed the opportunity from a lot of people who genuinely enjoyed my goofy ass output, and that's not fair to them. So, oh well. Lee, hey, how you doing? Lee, why say baby's first anime? Because of the show title. Because later in the show I'm going to talk about the first anime that I watched, how I got into anime. Because someone asked me about that on Twitter earlier this week, and there's a bit of a story there, so I thought I'd tell it on the podcast. And it was just my cutesy title for the podcast. But no, anime is not for babies. Some is, some isn't. Anime isn't a... I think most people know this, but anime is not a genre. So there are all kinds of genres of anime. Everything from stuff that is actually aimed at babies and stuff that's aimed at adults, and everything in between. There's all ages, there's each age group, there's all kinds of different genres. It's one of the fun things about anime. Let's see. Cafe Fox, my channel would be just like a flat straight line at the bottom. Yeah, I mean, if at the rate I was gaining subscribers, I should probably be at around, I don't know, 17, 18,000 subscribers at this point. You know, my growth was never really soaring. I didn't, oh, well, I'd have hundreds of... No, no, no. I was never going to be that popular, and that's totally fine. But, you know, I seem to average around 1,500 to 2,000 new subscribers each year. That was the trajectory of my channel. And if it had just, you know, tapered off, I would have said, oh, well, YouTube has moved on from me. Perfectly fair. But it didn't taper off. It suddenly, immediately stopped. Which is suspicious, to say the least. Lyrically, see, I've been meaning to rewatch some of your Nintendo episodes, seeing how things changed. I haven't done a ton regarding Nintendo in the last couple of years, mainly because the Switch doesn't interest me. For the most part, it's just not a console. There's a few games on it that I really, really love. Mario Odyssey, for example, but not to say I haven't done anything with the Switch. I started with... I had some videos early on that were taking a look at... there was a... infographic showing, oh, here's all the third parties that are working with the Switch. So I made a video, okay, let's see what has come of these 30 some odd third parties and what they've brought to the Switch. Just as an interesting analysis, and what I found was most of it is stuff that's available on other consoles and usually more feature complete. They're like better versions. You know, very few of the third-party companies that were announced in that original infographic were bringing anything exclusive to the Switch, which is not at all surprising, but I thought it an interesting observation. And that video did okay. Probably a few hundred views. But let's see what it's doing now. Switch. I forget what I called it. No, here we are. Yeah. Third-party games on Nintendo Switch, mostly ports of old games. Yeah, back in October 2017. Let's see. Where am I? Oh, analytics. Here we go. Well, that's not the view I want. Engagement? Is that what I want? Huh, this has changed. Alright, I have to actually pull up the actual video. Okay, not that everyone watching is like, we don't care. Let's do that. And oh yeah, 2,700 views. So almost 2,800 views. So, you know, that one did pretty well. And that was after my subscribers just completely stopped. It was a couple months later, but yeah. So not even so I've had a few things do pretty well. You know, that used to be, you know, 2,700. That used to be a pretty well performing video by my standards back in the day. Now if I get anything into 3 digits, it's pretty good. Let's see. Some people forgot their password, didn't log back in, and their accounts closed after... Yeah, I imagine that's some of it. Oh, that was you, Lyrically See? Okay. The Ninja Scroll versus Ghost in the Shell? Yeah. Firelight, hello. Wii U videos is how I found me. The reason... Oh, the... For everything but Wii U. Yeah, I had some folks say, hey, are you going to do For everything but Switch? And I said, no. No, I'm not. Because the point of For everything but Wii U was the Wii U was essentially on the same technological level as the PS3 and the Xbox 360. The Switch is not on the same technological level as the PS4 and the Xbox One. At all. Not even close. So I wouldn't... The point of For everything but Wii U is all of these games are on Xbox 360 and PS3, but not the Switch. But there's no technological reason that they couldn't be. They could be ported to the Wii U if the developers wanted to take the time and effort and money, which they may justifiably not have wanted to, because they may have thought the amount of money and time we'd have to invest to create the port, we wouldn't see that return in actual sales because the Wii U isn't selling very well. Fair enough. That wasn't the point. But with the Switch, you're making something for the PS4, you're going to have to make something fairly radically different to get it to work on the Switch, because it's about a technological generation behind. It's even worse now with the PS5, but most things that come out on the PS5 or Xbox One X are also coming out on the Xbox One and PS4, which are still a generation, technologically speaking, ahead of the Switch. So, but I certainly do appreciate that people really enjoyed the For Everything But Wii U videos, but those were a lot of work to research. So, anyway, Lindy, hello. I liked the I think you did it a while ago, Lindy, but the Lum illustration. You can't. Oh, you can kind of see him. Yeah, I have all of the Urusei Yatsura. It continues down onto this lower shelf, but yeah, the pink and the blue there, that's all Urusei Yatsura. So I liked your Lum illustration. There you go. Lindy does art good. Go follow her in Instagram. I forget something. No. Yeah, I think you're on Instagram. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, okay. Enough complaining about YouTube. Let's complain about something else. Friends. Oh, real quick. Capcom previewed some Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Lots of big monsters. It comes out in the summer, I think June 30th. And if you want to know what my favorite new monster that I'll be fighting in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, it's this goofy little guy right here. Look at that face. You know what? There's actually kind of a resemblance there between that and Brian's cat. Look at that. Yeah. Nope, I missed it. There we go. Yep, it's pretty much the same creature. I love that. I love that goofy little. That's not even. That's a small monster too. I hope there's a big version of that because that makes me happy. Anyway, I have no idea what that's called, but that is pretty cool. Okay, so Lindy says, I can't stand the MC, so I haven't watched it. They say it's sort of, what is MC? That, I'm going to slap myself in the face as soon as that's defined. I'll be like, oh, that's what. Anyway. It looks like a gremlin. It does look like a gremlin. Let's talk about human beings and our propensity to not be perfect. We are flawed beings, and sometimes we make boo-boos, little oopsie doodles. And sometimes when we do that, maybe most of the time, maybe all the time when we do that, we should probably say sorry. And I have, throughout my decades on this planet, learned that there are right ways and there are wrong ways to apologize. And I've found it very interesting that most people, especially high-profile people and organizations, do not know how to apologize correctly. And I found a really excellent example of absolutely how not to apologize. So I thought the main character, the dude... Oh, MC main character. Oh, Ataru Moroboshi. Oh my god, I remember his name. Yeah. Ataru Moroboshi. Yeah. The nice thing about Urusei Yatsura, especially later in the series, is there are so damn many characters that if you don't like Ataru, understandable, there's a lot of episodes where he's not even in it. You know? There are so many damn characters in that show that a lot of the episodes feel free to just focus on other characters. But, yeah, fair enough. Ori and the Will of the Wisps and Ori and the, I don't know, Blind Forest or something. Series of games from Moon Studios came out in the last 5 years or so. It's a very pretty 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania, and I sigh because I don't like the portmanteau. It should just be, I don't know, Metroid-like. You know? Because, seriously, Castlevania, especially when you're talking about something like, Symphony of the Night, Metroid's pretty much always been Metroid, unless you're talking about, like, Metroid Pinball. Castlevania, not all of the early ones were nothing like Metroid. I don't know why anyone ever says Metroidvania unless they mean it's like Metroid but with a very gothic feel to it. And Ori is not gothic, so it's just Metroid-like. Castlevania's a great series. No need to poo-poo Castlevania any, but it didn't pioneer that. Arguably, Metroid didn't either, but it did popularize it. Urusei Yatsura is getting a reboot? Or remake? I did not hear that. I did hear, however, that FLCL is getting a remake, which I do have on my shelf back there. And I'm going to get it. I don't need to show it off, but I will. I'll do it. I'll show off my anime. Here it is. I keep it in alphabetical order so I can easily find stuff. If I can, spell. So here's my box set of FLCL. Ain't they pretty? So anyway, this is almost 20 years old now. 6 episodes. I really, really like it. And they're making more, which I think comes out in I think there's a season 2 and a season 3. No idea how many episodes, but apparently at least one of the FLCL Grunge or something is coming out this year. Cool. Here's the thing, though. As much as I really like this, it overstays its welcome. Like, maybe it should have been 5 episodes instead of 6. It's almost a bit too long. Never heard of it. Fairly old, and it's a 6-episode OVA. So, but it's one of those Dream Logic, really wacky, exceptionally hyper shows that's either going to work for you or it's just going to annoy the hell out of you. I really liked it, but for me, it did start to drag. It was just a bit too long, I felt. But, I hate saying Fooly Cooly, so I just say FLCL. Okay, so anyway, Moon Studios made the Ori games. The games are great, but apparently Moon Studios, at least the two guys who run the joint, not so much. In fact, they foster an incredibly toxic work environment. They are very negative. They talk about their penises a lot, in the company chat spaces, and make anti-Semitic jokes and comment on women's appearances, and they just sound like a bunch of scumbags. And there was a real big article on VentureBeat a couple days ago detailing interviews from many employees, both former and current, who talked about the garbage that they had to go through, and kind of explains why their turnaround is so high, because people go there to work and they're like, yeah, this not dealing with that. So, apparently, so the two dudes that run Moon Studios seem to be just obnoxious jackasses who don't know how to run a studio and don't realize that, it's, if you have a good relationship with your coworker and you guys are at home visiting, having pizza, and want to tell really dirty jokes, okay. But on the company-wide Zoom call, don't do that. Just don't. It's unprofessional. And don't be mean to people, because it's mean. And being mean is mean. Anyway, so Moon Studios responded to VentureBeat with this statement. which is the absolute wrong way to apologize. And I'm going to regale you with this because I think there's a lot we can learn here. It says, "We don't believe the experiences suggested by your questions are representative of the more than 80 Moon Studios team members who are thriving and doing great work every day, nor do we believe they are representative of the experiences of former members of our team. In fact, we're very proud of our history of making people happy, advancing their careers, and contributing to their financial success." Okay, already we're off on the wrong foot. Because the first thing that stands out to me is they didn't say, well, that's not true. We definitely wouldn't do anything like that. We wouldn't talk about our penises on, a company-wide Zoom call. Who would do that? And we certainly wouldn't tell, racist or sexist or jokes on company-wide Zoom calls. And we certainly would not profanely berate any of our employees on company-wide Zoom calls, which is something I would expect someone to say if that was indeed not something that ever occurred, right? Well, we don't believe the experiences suggested by your questions are representative of... Yeah, we're already off on the wrong foot, Moonies. We built Moon Studios with a simple premise. First, we wanted to create a distributed studio that is not limited by geographic boundaries, enabling us to draw the top talent from around the world. Just as a sidebar, Moon Studios, as far as I know, does not have a central location where everyone works. They probably have like a specific company mailing address, but all of their employees work across like 30 different countries. So most of their work is done entirely online. So they don't usually meet face-to-face, a lot of Zoom and chat and Slack and all that. So that's how that company works, which probably worked really well when the pandemic hit. Second, we wanted to foster a vibrant culture where our team thrives and delivers the very best work in our industry. And finally, from day one, we set out to share the profits and rewards of our efforts with the full team. We believe we have succeeded. Okay, that sounds nice, but that has nothing to do with the allegations. This comes off as a deflection. But, let's keep going. What makes our team so powerful is our global and cultural diversity. We have team members working from more than 40 different countries across 4 continents, and a flat studio structure that allows everyone to speak honestly and directly and to challenge and push each other to do our very best work. We properly set out to create a different kind of studio, one that encourages creativity, open communication, collaboration, and performance. Here's the thing, though, and if you read the VentureBeat article, which is really long, you get the sense that they do say that. It's like everyone should feel free to be as uninhibited in our language as we are. Unfortunately, and these guys genuinely don't seem to get this, there's a power differential here. I mean, when the person who signs your paychecks, is verbally berating you in front of everyone else, but also says, oh, feel free to, speak your mind. Most people, at least, are not going to be inclined to do so. They're like, does he really mean that? Or is he just going to call me an asshole and say my work sucks and then fire me? Right? And that was something that many of the people that responded to this article were saying. The result has been 2 award-winning games, with more on the horizon, and a team of professionals who enjoy working together, are excelling and breaking new ground in our industry, while also sharing in the financial success of Moon Studios. If at times we are brutally direct in our critiques and challenges, we are also genuine and vocal in our praise. According to the folks interviewed for this article, that's not true. They never praise anything, but they are brutal in their critiques and challenges. They just say, no, that shit, redo it, and don't really give any guidance beyond that, is what was reported. Those are some of the allegations. We're incredibly proud of everything we have built and achieved together. Okay, that's great, but again, here's where you're falling flat with your apology. you're being accused of mistreating your workers, you don't want to apologize by saying how awesome the product your company produces is. Because what it sounds like you're saying is, abusing our employees is why our product is so good. If we didn't run our company the way we run it, why, Ori and the Blind Forest, or whatever it's called, I'm sorry, wouldn't be as awesome. Or maybe if you didn't treat your employees like shit and foster an incredibly toxic work environment that resulted in one of the highest turnovers of any studio we know of, maybe the game would be even better. Or it would have only been delayed, twice instead of 3 times. Maybe this is why Microsoft isn't publishing your next game. Who knows? We appreciate the irony that we, an Austrian and an Israeli Jew, started this multicultural enterprise. We view each other as brothers, and, like brothers, we sometimes argue and frequently tease each other. We have made jokes at our own expense about the differences in our backgrounds, and there have been times that our teasing of each other has come off as insensitive, and may have made others feel uncomfortable. Okay, couple things here. Some classic things. This also comes off as the, I can't be racist, I have a black friend. I can't be anti-Semitic, I'm Jewish, or my buddy's Jewish. Yeah, you can. You can. Happens all the time. This bit about there may have been times that our teasing of each other has come off as insensitive, and may have made others feel uncomfortable. This one's a classic. Denying that you did anything wrong, and if anyone perceived that you did something wrong, well, it's their fault for having that perception. Don't do that. Your teasing was insensitive, and you did make others uncomfortable. Whether you intended to or not is not remotely relevant. Context is always appreciated, but it's not relevant. Don't do that. When someone says, you make me feel uncomfortable, apologize. Don't apologize if you were uncomfortable. They were. They already said they were. Apology 101. Learn it. Live it. Love it. Don't be an asshole in the first place. Then you won't have to apologize. And finally, Moon Studios has prospered for 12 years. We have grown and learned so much over all these years. We've been privileged to work with many, many great and extremely talented people. We are truly grateful and proud of our team. Those who are, those who are here today, as well as those who spent time at Moon and have since moved to other ventures, we are happy to have made a positive difference in their lives. We are not perfect, but we deeply care about our talent, and we constantly working hard to improve. If we have ever made anyone feel uncomfortable or let anyone down, we regret that, and we always strive to do better. Again, basically they're saying is, we haven't done anything, and if anyone, we're sorry if you chose to be offended by something that is not offensive. We can't control what you choose to be offended by, but we're sorry that you do that. Yeah. So, based on this response, I believe everything that the VentureBeat article reported, just based on this shitty apology. Because this is exactly the kind of apology that shitty, unapologetic people give all the time. So, maybe we can all learn something. We're all going to screw up now and then. It happens. And there are ways to apologize, and there are ways to not apologize. This is a prime example of exactly how not to apologize. Number one, actually be sorry. If you're not actually sorry, then the apology's not going to work anyway. Two, never apologize for... Never say, I'm sorry if you were offended or for how you might have felt. Because what that's saying is, I don't believe you. You know, okay, you're lying, but if I did anything that you chose to interpret as, don't do that. Don't do that. Just say you're sorry. I'm sorry I offended you. I will curtail this specific behavior is no good. We're going to stop that now. We've learned that talking about our penises on the company-wide Zoom calls is not good, and while my buddy and I find it hilarious, we recognize that the people who work for us are made really uncomfortable. Sorry we didn't see that. We'll stop talking about our penises at work now. Scout's honor. Should really use my right hand for that, I guess. But, I mean, not so hard. Get it? That's a penis joke. It's okay for a podcast, you see. Because I'm not paying any of you. I didn't know this about Moon Studios, Lyrically See. Yeah, I didn't either. And it's a damn shame when something you love turns out to be run. I wouldn't say the Ori games are made by shitty people. It's made by really wonderful, talented people who are just led by two shitty people. Really, I hope that Thomas Mahler and Gennady Koral, and I apologize, I probably mispronounced both of those. I hope that they improve as human beings. Based on this apology, it doesn't look like they're ready to improve yet, and they should really be replaced. Or at the very least, hire an HR department. I don't know, but you have a high turnover for a reason. They apparently are correct in saying that their employees like working with each other. They just don't like to work with you or in the toxic environment that you foster. So stop it. Let's see. Mostly watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid, says Lee. I'm a Yu Yu Hakusho person. Actually, I'm sure there are plenty of people who like both shows, but I've noticed that a lot of times people who don't like Dragon Ball Z like Yu Yu Hakusho, and those who like Yu Yu Hakusho don't care for Dragon Ball Z. I knew a guy at work. He was a DBZ fan, and I like a Yu Yu Hakusho, so we'd razz each other on that all the time. I always describe Dragon Ball Z. It's like Dragon Ball Z, if I were to describe it, it's like Yu Yu Hakusho, except it doesn't suck by every conceivable metric. Which is a horrible, mean thing to say for a show that has just a ton of fans. But it's true in the sense that I personally just don't care for at least what I've seen of Dragon Ball Z. Could never get into it. I watched it and I went, I just don't see what anyone else sees. I watched this, and my read on Dragon Ball Z is this is just bad, just really terrible by every conceivable metric. But yeah, I'm certainly not saying it shouldn't exist or shouldn't have its fans. It's just not for me. Chicago, we torture our game employees to get the best game they can possibly make. I know it's just such a damn bummer when people are abused or hurt in the process of making the consumable entertainment products that we love and admire. It just sucks. Hey, speaking of which, let me move this a little bit in my notes, and I am messing up. There we go. Let's there we are. Huzzah! Let's talk about the state of play this week, which showed off the what is it called? Hogwarts Legacy, Harry Potter franchise open world game that WB is doing, and it was pretty funny. They seem to be going out of their way not to mention J.K. Rowling, and for good reason. She is just an enormously horrible transphobic bigot, and no one except horrible transphobic bigots want to associate with her. WB probably more along the lines of because it's bad for the brand. But I did find a couple things kind of funny. I mean, it's not surprising that they didn't... Her name is in the copyright in the very, very small text at the bottom of the title screen. Other than that, I didn't see her name anywhere. No one said her name. No one mentioned her. She wasn't a talking head. She was not interviewed. And again, for good reason. Game looks alright. Looks like it could be fun. Takes place in like the 19th century, so it's a Potter prequel. Takes place at Hogwarts, 150 years or so before the events of Harry Potter. Which is an interesting choice, because that means that it's also has some of the same problematic elements that people have pointed out over the years, such as the the slaves. The elfin slaves, that they are elves, right? I think so. Dobby and Creature and the house elves, who are slaves, an entire race that is enslaved, because that's just their nature, you see. They like it that way. In fact, it's better for them. The slavery is really for their benefit. Yikes! And, I mean, if you set your world as a prequel to Harry Potter, you're kind of stuck there. And I get it. But you have like two major options here. One, you could just say, you know what? Screw it. We're not doing the slavery thing. Or you could set it in the future, or at a different school that doesn't do the slavery thing. Or an Earth 2 version of Hogwarts. You own the property, you can do whatever the hell you want with it. I think maybe there's some contractual stuff that maybe Rowling sold it with stipulations like elves must be slaves. So what was the main conflict they decided to go for the Harry Potter, the Hogwarts Legacy game? So, you know how along with the whole slavery thing that people kind of were like, people had a similar concern about the goblins in the game, which seemed to draw from really obvious anti-Semitic stereotypes. All the goblins, they're really crafty, duplicitous, squat, ugly little hook-nosed monsters that are just all about money and actually kind of rule all of the financial systems. The entire race. Yeah, that's in there too. So they said, okay, what should we do for our main story? Hey, let's have a whole conspiracy with the goblins. Being essentially like the Illuminati or something and entering into a conspiracy to do bad things. That's a choice they made. Not the choice I would have made, honestly. I probably would have stayed away from that. I mean, I get it. You inherited the property, or you bought it. It came with some baggage. I get that. But just because you have the baggage doesn't mean you have to pack it full of clothing. I don't know if my analogy's working, but yeah. But you know what stuck out to me the most? The fact that in the world of Hogwarts, there are exploding red barrels. Seriously, your walking through the level, and you've got witches and wizards firing bolts of lightning and fireballs and stuff at you, and there's just red barrels around the environment that you can smack with your lightning wand and they'll blow up. I mean, we saw these in the books and the movies. The exploding red barrels, they are canon. I don't know why that amused me so much, but but it really did. House elves, yeah. Chicago says, but they like being slaves? You're doing them a kindness by enslaving them. Yeah. And, you know, the biggest benefit of the doubt when I read Chamber of Secrets, I think Dobby shows, I think the house elves are introduced in the second book. I read these books basically at the turn of the century when the films came out. So I had always meant to read them because they were really popular. I just never got around to them because I didn't really care. And then the movie came out and I was like, I should read the book. So I read Harry Potter like the week, the Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone, a stone of some kind, the week before the movie came out, and I went, it's cute. It's fun. It's not going to revolutionize literature or anything, but yeah, it's enjoyable. Kelly, my sister, let's go see the movie, and we saw the movie, and it was cute. Yeah, it's fine. And then the Chamber of Secrets came out the following year. I'm like, I guess I should read the Chamber of Secrets. So I had a habit of reading the book like the week before the movie came out. So I read Chamber of Secrets back in 2001 or 2, whenever it came out. And it introduced Dobby, the house elf. And I remember reading the book and going like, well, okay, so I think maybe where the author her head was is we need some kind of explanation for who's, setting all the, who's cleaning the castle and who's setting the tables in the grand hall and stuff like that. There's just this army of elves that does that. Okay. Oh, but what if they're like magically compelled to do that, and you can like if you give them a personal artifact, then they are no longer in your servitude, and that would mean they wear like pillowcases as clothes. Yeah, what probably wasn't a really horrible thing. It was just like some working backwards from a need, and then. So I was like, I'm extending the author the benefit. This was before Twitter, so we didn't know that she genuinely is just a horrible, nasty, transphobic bigot who really likes to hurt people. But back in 2001, I was like, this was not the best choice. And then it was like a couple of books later, I think it's like the 4th book or something like that, where they actually circle back around to, I think Hermione is like... she creates some resource group or activist group that wants to free the slaves. Which kind of felt like... Because I don't think it's mentioned in, like, the 3rd book at all. Which really felt like the author had taken some feedback. It's like, oh, God, I just made slaves. Oh, shit. And then the 4th book, she's like, I gotta fix this. So for Hermione standing up for elfin rights. Except Hermione's activism, not Activision, activism for elf rights is the butt of the joke throughout the entire book. Like, her organization is given a funny name like Spew or Barf, or like the acronym spells out something silly, and everyone is, oh, Hermione with her elf activity trying to end slavery, that silly goose. It was in that book 4 or 5 when I was like, oh no, oh, she's doubling down. Oh, and then they start doing this. Oh, well, you don't understand. Slavery's in their best nature. Maybe that is the 2nd book. I don't remember. But it's like, oh man, this is tough. But there's broomstick riding and magic, and there's certainly whimsy and fun to be had with the Harry Potter books. But yeah, there's some. there's some choices in those books that are not a great reflection on the author, and looking back at it with what we know about the author now, not terribly surprising. So, but Legacy Hogwarts, Hogwarts Legacy, as far as the game goes, could be fun. Again, exploding red barrels. All right. Hey, Ronan. Chicago says they could have wizards enchant tools to do the work themselves, a la Disney Fantasia. They actually literally do that. I know Ginny Weasley. No, Mom Weasley. What's her name? Margaret? Susan Weasley. Ginny's the youngest kid, I think. Susan Weasley, the mom. She casts spells to like do the dishes, right? So they could totally enchant, mops and stuff to clean. But they have an entire race of elves that they enslave. No, it's for the best. No, they like it. They'd be lost without their masters. It's like, oh my god! How unself-aware can you be? I read it when I was, in my young 20s, and even I, as a really stupid male, picked that. A very privileged, stupid male picked that up. I read the part, I was like, oh, that's a... Yee. But I'm sure the game will be fine. Apparently no microtransactions, so, hey. Alright, so, it was SPEW, the Society for the Promotion of Elvish Welfare. There you go. Thank you. Amazed I actually remembered that. Okay, so, I am verbose. We're going to have a longer podcast because I will get to the Ninja Scroll versus Ghost in the Shell Baby's First Anime stuff. But before we do that, I want to talk about the Miss Marvel trailer, which trailered Miss Marvel this week. So Moon Knight is up next, but January 30th, I guess? No, January. June 30th, I think, is when the Miss Marvel show on Disney Plus comes out. And so we got our first trailer for it, and it looks cute. And I'll tell you, I was very angry. I was very angry at the Miss Marvel trailer because you see, Miss Marvel is about a Pakistani American young woman. So it's definitely written for me. So I was very displeased, very angry, very rantingly angry to see that they're not doing her powers correctly in the show. Like, there are no shots of her embiggening, except for the 2 shots of her embiggening, but that's not going to stop me from angrily ranting about it, because there were other shots that showed powers that I don't recognize from the comic book that's definitely targeting me, and that makes me mad. And you don't want to make this 42-year-old white boy mad, because I've got a YouTube channel, and I will have a 4-hour rant about how mad I am about this comic book. Let's start now. So in addition to not embiggening properly, except for the clearly 2 shots in the trailer where she does embiggen and do the stretchy thing that we know and love from the comic, and ignoring the fact that there's still 3 months until this comes out, and they're probably still working on the effect shots, and however good they end up looking, or whatever they look like, they probably look like crap right now, because they do work on this stuff right up until the last minute, because they can afford to do that. But ignoring all that, because my feelings are what are important, I demand that this show, again, which is targeting me, just like the comic did, align itself properly with the comic. Respect the source material, you see. I demand not only her powers be consistent with the comic book, I also insist that she fights a genius bird person who is the clone of Thomas Edison, and that she fights a giant alligator in the sewer with Wolverine, and that she adopts Lockjaw, the teleporting Inhumans dog. You see, all of this is canon to the book, and it is very important that it exists in the show, and I will be very angry. And I will get on Twitter, and I will call the showrunner an asshole on their Twitter if the Miss Marvel television show doesn't meet my exacting specifications. Gosh darn it. Other than that, I thought the Miss Marvel, I think it looks pretty cute. So now that I got the sassy sarcasm out of the way, I honestly, my first thought was like, looks like they're going a slightly different direction with the powers. For those of you who don't know, in the book, her powers are, she has a healing factor, she's stretchy, she can embiggen, I really hate that word, but she embiggens and disembiggens. She can stretch her limbs, so she usually makes her really big fists to punch people with. So she's kind of like Mr. Fantastic or Plastic Man or Elastigirl. She has stretchy powers. She can also, but basically, she's a shapeshifter. She can change into other people or inanimate objects. Although oddly, in the books, at least the what I've read of it, she doesn't do that very often. Like, she changes into Captain Marvel, like, the very beginning of the book, and then she, like, never uses... She turns into a couch once, and that would seem to be, like, a really helpful ability, but she never uses it again. I only read, like, the first major arc of Miss Marvel. But it's generally stretchy power. So it's kind of... I thought it was kind of odd that she has the, like, the crystal step things that she's walking in midair on. She seems to be like strapping on a band that I don't know if it gives her powers or activates her powers or allows her to control her powers. I don't know if she's an Inhuman, because in the book the Terrigen Mists, come along and turn her into an Inhuman, but they already kind of did that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., except instead of Terrigen Mists, I think they infected like fish, and so now Terrigen crystals are in some shipments of fish oil, so people all over the world went Inhuman. I don't know if that's canon with the MCU or not, but wait a minute. Yeah, I had a thought. It wouldn't make sense to do it exactly the way it works in the comic book, right? Because the Terrigen Mists wouldn't really work in the context of the MCU. It would be neat to see Wolverine, but this is Wolverine without any healing factor. I guess they could get what's his face? Who plays Wolverine? Hugh Jackman, but it would seem to kind of come out of nowhere because they haven't done mutants yet. And it would be, I guess they could have Medusa and Lockjaw show up. I mean, they did have the Inhumans miniseries, which I should probably watch at some point. But maybe they'll have the giant alligator and stuff. Maybe if we considered... Maybe I would be less angry if I considered the Miss Marvel television show and... What's a good word? An adaptation of the comic book, which I've already read. You know what? Maybe that's a good way of looking at it. It's not a regurgitation of the comic book. It's an adaptation of it. Because... would I really want a live-action version of exactly what happened in the comic book? I already read the comic book. You know what? I certainly don't have a problem with giving you my thoughts on what they decided to show in the trailer and how successful the marketing team is in convincing me to watch the show. That's perfectly fair. But I think I'll actually wait 3 months and watch the show and see what they do with it. before I get angry and, tweet at the showrunners that they're doo-doo heads. Yeah. That would be the mature thing to do. And I'm very, very mature. So. Reimagining. There you go. So, anyway, I think Miss Marvel looks cute. Interested to see what they do with it. Looks like they're adding to her powers, at least. If changing it. She still makes big fists. She still's doing the stretchy-limbed overhead giant fist double slam. It's a quick shot, but if you look at it, she's definitely extending her limbs. She is walking on little crystal pads that she's generating in the air, which is weird. I don't know if she ever did that in the book. Maybe that came way later in the series. I don't know. But, maybe I shouldn't get mad at TV or movies. Maybe that's just silly. Oh well. Looks cute. So let's talk about anime. A lot of people, occasionally someone will say, Andrew, I want to get into anime. Where should I start? And I always have the same response. Urutsuki Doji. Because I'm an asshole. For those of you who don't get the joke, Urutsuki Doji, the English title being Legend of the Overfiend or something like that, it's tentacle porn. Why would I suggest that as someone's intro to anime? Just because I'm an asshole, I guess. I don't know. Because it makes me giggle when I do that. Urutsuki Doji is actually, as far as tentacle porn goes, not terrible. There is actually a story there. Do I recommend it? No. But I mean, if you want to watch, if you're like, on my bucket list, I really need to see some anime tentacle porn. Well, Urutsuki Doji, I guess. Fairly old school now, but there might be more, better, more modern tentacle porn to watch. But not my genre, so I have no idea. So let us know in the chat if you know better tentacle porn than Urutsuki Doji. Tentacle porn, says Chicago. I think I'm okay not watching anime. No, not all anime is Urutsuki Doji. All anime is... there are two types of anime. Harem anime and isekai anime. Okay, so... I don't know what the first anime I watched is. I actually credit two movies as my first anime. Because in the 90s, I was home alone. I don't think I was sick. I think I was like on break from college or high school. Or well, it was mid-90s, so it would have been high school. I was home alone for whatever reason. Maybe Kelly and Mom were off somewhere. I seem to remember I was home alone. I thought, you know what? I should check out this anime I've heard so much about. There's an entire shelf of anime at Blockbuster Video for me to choose from. That's right, one entire shelf. So I went to Blockbuster Video, or the local video store, one of them, Hollywood Video, I don't know. And I rented Ghost in the Shell and Ninja Scroll. Two of the, I don't know, dozen titles that they had, and two titles that I had actually heard of. Chicago says, did parents leave you home alone when they flew to Paris? Something like that. Well, Mom and Dad divorced when I was like 5, so grew up with it. So it would have only been Mom and Kelly in the house, but I know I was alone for some reason. Don't know why. So I brought home Ghost in the Shell and Ninja Scroll. And I watched Ghost in the Shell first. And I thought, well, it's pretty. I enjoyed it. It's action-y. It's got a look unlike anything I've really seen before. But as a narrative, it kind of left me cold. I thought it was a really gorgeous film, lots of fun action and fun to watch. But I was like, it's okay. Then I watched Ninja Scroll, and I was like, now that's what I'm talking about. Ninja Scroll, says I, is better than Ghost in the Shell. Or at the very least, I find it more entertaining. And do I have that sitting on my shelf too? Yeah, I do. I also have the TV series, which is not as good. Lyrically C says, I remember seeing these movies on public access in my hometown. Ghost in the Shell is a very violent ninja film. It's very much like a video game, so you have your ninja, and at the end of level 1 you fight the rock ninja guy. And at the end of level 2 you fight the bees ninja guy. And at the end of... And it goes on like... Basically, you get... whatever the dude's name is goes through the movie, you know... And there's a princess ninja. Is she a princess? I don't think she's a princess. She was like the... she's like someone... She's like some lord's poison taster. You know, she eats the food or drinks the drinks before the lord to see if there's poison in it. Which means that she's like poison ivy, you know. She's immune to all poisons, but now she's toxic to the touch, so she doesn't know the touch of another human being, sexually speaking. Like, you know, she's not like Rogue. She could, you know, shake your hand or something, but she can't have sex with anyone because they'd get or kiss anyone because they'd get poisoned and die. Well, it's also the kind of movie where the bad guys rape the good guys, so she gets raped. But that's how she kills the bad guy, by him raping her, because he gets poisoned from raping her. So she wins. Yeah, it's one of those. So 80s anime. So it's very gory, it's very sexual, and for some reason she hooks up with, in the biblical sense, with our main ninja, and it doesn't kill him for reasons. Power of love. I don't remember. Is there a canonical? I don't really remember why. But or maybe he gets poisoned and she like offers herself to him to fight poison with poison, and she like drops her kimono and is standing there naked, and then he just gives her a hug because he just has that much respect for her, and she's like, no, but you'll die. But I think they have sex anyway. That's what it is. He's poisoned, so double poison equals not more poison, but no poison. And then he fights the main bad guy. It's something like that. It is fast-paced. It is gory. It is incredibly silly. Highly sexual, with, you know, sexual violence, too. So, definite content warning in all cases there. But I was also, you know, 15 or 16 when I watched it, so... yeah, that was right up my alley. Not the sexual violence, but the you know, the gore and just stuff I'd never seen. Oh my god, boobs in a cartoon? Why, I've never seen such a thing. So I found out years later that I think the first anime film I'd ever seen was actually the second Urusei Yatsura movie, Beautiful Dreamer. Because it wasn't until I figured out what Urusei Yatsura was that I was like, wait a minute, that movie I watched with the kids in the school that ended up being on the back of a giant turtle or something, that was an anime! And I had probably seen some Speed Racer and Robotech, which were, you know, adapted from, you know, actual Japanese cartoons, so some of those were probably my first. But I always credit Ghost in the Shell and Ninja Scroll as my first real anime. As far as series go, when I was in my early 20s, there was a comic book shop near me, and they had a anime day where they just screened anime all day. So I just took a day and I went down there and I saw a bunch of stuff, like the episode 1 of just a bunch of different series. Hunter x Hunter, Love Hina, which I think was the first harem anime that I saw. So it wasn't, so being completely new to me, I actually liked it. Now, Love Hina has its charms, but it's pretty lame. Because if you've seen any harem anime, you've seen Love Hina. There's better than that. Like I'd say, Ayori Aoshi is better. Oh My Goddess, or well, Ah My Goddess is better. I think that straddles the line enough to actually be considered a harem anime. Although both of those are more, there's a main couple with a bunch of horny women living in the house. So, what else did I see that day? Actually, I think I think I saw the first episode of Urutse Yatsura that day too. What else? Might have seen an episode of Hellsing. I don't remember what else. But Lyrically C says, I love the Deaths in Ninja Scroll. Oh yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, it's got a rock monster ninja who has like a two-bladed sword. Think Darth Maul's double-bladed lightsaber, but just a blade thing. And he like curls around the hilt and just rolls at people like a wheel with spikes sticking out of it. It's great. And everyone does that, you know, that forward-leaning run with the arms behind them. And, you know, the little staccato run that ninjas do in cartoons. They're constantly jumping up and hanging out on the branches in trees. He has a fight with a blind ninja in a bamboo forest. Oh, it's wonderful. It's incredibly violent, and it's chock full of sexual violence too, so not for everyone, but I thought it was a lot of fun. It'll be interesting. I should pull it off my shelf and watch it again, because I haven't seen it in probably 20 years. I wonder if it still holds up, or if it's like... It might be one of those shows that's awesome when you're a teenager and just kind of stupid when you're an adult. On the other hand, I still like a lot of really stupid stuff, so I'd probably still enjoy it here in my older age, I guess. Lindy says, for a moment, I was like, wait, this is all in Ghost in the Shell? I don't remember that. There is nudity in Ghost in the Shell. I don't think there's any sexual violence. I don't... what's-her-face, Kusaragi? She beats the snot out of someone while naked. There's nudity. I don't recall any sexual violence in it. I don't recall there being any sex in it. On the other hand, she does, like... I think she downloads her consciousness into, like, the body of a 12-year-old, which makes her relationship with other people a little weird, but I don't think anything's done. But, you know, it's a nice cyberpunky, Blade Runner-y kind of future tech film. I really did not like Ghost in the Shell 2. I thought that was boring. Beautiful. Absolutely stunningly gorgeous film, but I thought Ghost in the Shell 2 was boring as hell. I saw a few episodes of one of the television shows. Standalone Complex, I think is what it's called. I only saw a few episodes. Didn't see them in order. I thought it was alright. But yeah, first movie is solid. It's like Akira, another movie that I don't really care for. It's one of those you should probably see. You know, if you're into anime, it's like you should see Ghost in the Shell. You should see Akira. You should probably see an episode from the first couple of seasons of Lupin the Third. You know, that's an interesting chat. What? No sex in Ghost? Okay, yeah, I didn't think there was. I haven't seen any of the Netflix stuff. Chat, what do you think are some must-see anime? My mind's going more, here's like the classics. Like if someone's like, I want to get into anime, not just, you know, what's airing now that's good, but, you know, to get a fairly decent sense of maybe the history of anime. Should someone watch a little bit of a Kim of the White Lion or Astro Boy or Dirty Pair. Or I love Vampire Hunter D. Yeah, I've seen. I think Vampire Hunter D is another one that's if you're not put off by gore and you like weird monsters and vampires, it's fun. I didn't feel it's one of those overly stoic heroes that's just kind of boring, and almost invincible. It's fine. Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust? What was the sequel called? I seem to recall I didn't think the sequel was very good, but the first one, that is one of the classics. I don't know if it's such a touchstone that is a must-see, but it's up there at least. Ranma 1/2? Sure. Fighting Spirit. That's Hajime no Ippo, right? The boxing one. I don't know if I would say that's definitely a must, like for the history of anime, but I would recommend that, unless you really hate sports anime. Hajime no Ippo is, it's long. It's probably like 70, 80 episodes, but it's good. I really enjoy that show. Ronin Warriors, okay. Tenchu, sure. That's how much of Tenchu Mayo have I seen? I haven't seen much of it, but there's like, I don't know if should I watch any of Tenchi. I'd be like yes, but I have no idea where you would start with that one. City Hunter. That City Hunter is another one that gags don't age well. Yeah. Ryo, right? Ryo, I don't remember his name. Mokuri, it's one of those, he's a cop. I really like City Hunter. I enjoyed the book, and I enjoyed the TV series, which is like, probably like 4 seasons or something. I have those on my shelf somewhere, too. Yeah, they're going to be out of sight. The C's are down towards the bottom. So he's a private investigator who does, the underworld jobs, finding kidnapped victims and protecting people. But he's motivated by attractive women and uses the power of his erection to get out of some tight spots sometimes. I mean, like literally, like he'll be chained up or something, and an attractive woman will walk by and Mokuri, and he'll just, like, with the power of his erection, just burst through the chains. And a lot of his humor, like, he'll sneak up on a woman, and this woman is coming to him for help because she's being stalked by the mafia or something like that. And he sneaks up on her and, like, grabs her leg or gooses her butt or something like that. And it's played as if he's doing her a favor by putting her at ease. So they try to be playful with it. Not entirely successful. It's something you have to get into a particular mindset to enjoy. I could totally see how someone would really not enjoy that aspect of Ryo. Don't remember his name. Saiba. That's right. Ryu Saiba. Macross, okay. Escaflowne is really good. I really like it. I think you can see that on my shelf. Yeah, that's the movie, and that's the TV series. One of the most bold aesthetic styles. It's if you've ever, what's that anime with the characters with the really long noses? It's Escaflowne. Record of Lodoss War. If you like fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons kind of stuff, Record of Lodoss War it might be one to check out. Let's see. Oh, Jesus! Ronan actually had Appleseed and then Record of Lodoss War. Appleseed is very similar in aesthetics and tone to Ghost in the Shell. I actually kind of like the characters in Appleseed more than I like. The characters in Ghost in the Shell are just really kind of flat and morose and monotone. They're like me. The Appleseed characters are a bit more lively, I feel. I think Ghost in the Shell definitely has bigger ideas. You're going to be more intellectually stimulated from Ghost in the Shell, I think, but I actually, just from entertainment value, I think I like Appleseed better. But yeah, Ronan actually had Record of Lodoss War in that too. They did, yeah. They had a Deedlit's Awesome Adventure or something. They had I think it's an indie game in it. Is it a roguelike or it's a 2D single screen but moves into different screens, so kind of like a Castlevania adventure, RPG light. Deedlit's the elf from Record of Lodoss War. Yeah, I've seen some footage of it. It looks pretty nice. Oh, pardon me. So, yeah, in conclusion, anime is good. One of the things I love about anime is how varied it is, as I mentioned at the beginning. So it's much like a Metroid game, yeah. There's anime for all ages and all tastes. There is anime that is absolutely targeting the very, very young. There's anime that's targeting the very adult. There's anime that targets the adult, but really immature. You know, the really overtly bloody and sexy stuff. There's young adult, there's mid adult, there's old adult. All genres: horror, romance, comedy, sports anime, all kinds of sports anime. Harem, lots of harem anime. Right now, it's just a glut of isekai anime, which is the one where a character gets warped to some other universe, usually some type of fantasy, Lord of the Rings, Dungeons and Dragons like environment. There are a ton of those right now. I think it's like everyone is just sick of the Earth we're on. It's just like, anywhere else, please. They get sent to other worlds, video games, all kinds of stuff. It's pretty funny. It's a Metroid style game. Okay, yeah. Siberian Tiger, hello. I love anime, but I am burnt out on it. Its style seems to be everywhere and hard to escape from, but that's just my point of view. Sure, anime doesn't have a specific style, but there are definitely design elements that are more popular than others at different times. For example, anime is the style is typified by wild hairstyles and wild hair colors and really big eyes, but and that is true. A good chunk of what you're going to find on Crunchyroll / Funimation or any of the stuff, especially the stuff that ends up here in America, is going to look fairly similar from a design standpoint. There are design elements that pass in and out of vogue, and that's what's in vogue. However, you will be able to find examples of anime titles that buck the aesthetic norm. To an extent, Escaflowne could have been one of those, but if you've ever seen a movie called Jinro, that doesn't really look anything like what you usually call up to your mind when someone says anime, right? Most of the characters in Jinro look fairly realistic hairstyles and colors. The eyes aren't like taking up half of their heads. They don't do that thing where on the profile the mouth is like on the cheek. But it is true that those design tropes, depending on which area you're talking about, are very common. You know which one I absolutely hate, and I've been seeing for years, and I desperately wish they would stop? I think it's supposed to be a highlight that they usually put on women's breasts to make them look shiny, I guess, for some reason. And how they do it is they like draw like a red circle with, so it's like a blush with a highlight in the middle, which ends up just looking like giant pimples to me. And they put those on the women's breasts. They put them like on the small of their back. I've seen them on the thighs and the knees. I don't know why they keep doing that, because it is really ugly. I mean, first of all, so many people who draw anime, so many anime characters are drawn by people who apparently have never seen breasts and somehow have no access to any reference material. I mean, they're drawing boobs wrong in the first place, and on top of that, they're putting these weird highlights on them that wouldn't be there anyway, and also look like giant pimples, and I really don't understand the design direction here. I don't get it. But maybe it's just not meant for me. Lindy says, no, it's not. It's pimples on each boob. Right? It's what it looks like. It's an irritated red area with a white area in the center. It looks like a giant pimple. No, it's shine. No. I don't mean to brag. I've seen breasts before. More than once. They're not shiny. Now, maybe every woman I've ever seen topless had a lot of, like, powder on, like makeup powder to decrease the shine. Maybe that's what was going on there. Maybe women's chests are plastic and are very shiny. And I just don't know, because the women I know wear makeup. I don't know. Maybe. The point is, please stop drawing your characters like that. Because it looks really bad. Lyrically C says, wish that Star Fox short for Star Fox Zero was an actual movie. I must have seen it, but I don't remember it anymore. So... let me see if I can think of any other... I could probably just go look at my shelf and see what else I have on there. You know, it's really good that Kimagure Orange Road. I have that on the shelf somewhere. Oh, it's right there. That's a pretty good one. I don't think it's something... I wouldn't call it a must-watch, but if it's like on... Another one with a great theme song. Or great opening or ending song. I forget which one it was. One of the relatively few male vocal opening or ending songs. Outlaw Star. Who doesn't love Outlaw Star? Outlaw Star is fun. You know what I never hear anyone talk about? Crest of the Stars and Banner of the Stars. I think I've got those names right. That's another really good series that I recall enjoying. Cardcaptor Sakura, huh? I think I debut reviewed that in the last year or two. I remember thinking it does what it does very well, but it's not for me. But that's definitely a popular one. Something from Clamp. Ooh, okay. Definitely need to see something from Clamp. What was that? I think it was an OVA, Miyuki in Wonderland. Am I thinking of the right one? Well, there's what? The problem is I don't recall ever liking much that Clamp did. Did they do Chobits? That doesn't feel right. I gotta pull up what all Clamp did. They're the ones known for the overly detailed hair and stuff. Clamp anime series, sure. Let's see. Oh, Chobits was one. Okay. Yeah, I saw the first few episodes of Chobits. I thought it was okay. X, all right, yeah, never saw that. Card Captor Sakura is Clamp, right? Magic Knight Ray Earth, okay. Triple X Holic, yeah, I don't remember that one. I mean, I remember that one existing, but I've never watched it. Let's see. But you should definitely watch something from them just to see that company's style, because it is it's very they have their own style, which is something you're either going to like or not. Obviously, hey, this thing, you're either going to like it or you're not going to like it. Oh yeah, sure. Princess Mononoke. Oh God, I remember seeing the an American trailer for it, and the American voiceover dude got the name so incredibly wrong, and I'll cut you some slack. I do not pronounce a lot of Japanese words very well because I don't speak the language. But man, I have never. I'm like, you sure? He's like, Princess Mononoke. I'm like, oh my god. Did no one tell him? Did no one there have any idea what that was? Probably. Oh man. But Princess Mononoke, I remember I saw that. I enjoyed that film. There's some other great. Was that Ghibli? I don't remember. Spirited Away is another good one. Let's see. Nazca, the Valley of the Wind. That one, I love the world. I didn't really like the pacing of the story. Didn't work. A lot of really wonderful location and creature design in that one. I didn't think it worked terribly well as a narrative, but wonderful visual design. Card Captor is Clamp, yeah. Trigun can be fun. Gundam, man. What's the Team 8, MS Team 8 or something like that? That one I enjoyed. Some of the other Gundam stuff is there are so many different Gundam series though. Now it's kind of like saying watch Transformers. It's like there's over a dozen different Transformers series. Which one should I watch? I don't know. I'd say the one from the G1, the one from the 80s, or Beast Wars. Beast Wars was fun. Oh, Grave of the Fireflies? Yeah. If you want to be... it's a great movie if you want to be super depressed. If you want a TV series that's super depressing, Now and Then, Here and There. Try watching that one. If you hate life. To be clear, they are very good. But man, it's kind of like... what's that... Aronofsky movie. No. I'll think of it. It's got Jennifer Connelly in it. It's got oh gosh darn it. Darren Aronofsky movie, stars Jennifer Connelly and what's the other woman's name? I can't. Shoot. Help me, IMDb. It's about drug use. This is gonna bother me. Requiem for a Dream, that's what it's called. I knew that movie. Ellen Bernstein, that's who I was trying to think of. It's kind of like what's it called? Requiem for a Dream. It's a good movie. I saw it. Watched it once. I have no desire to ever watch it again. Yeah, no need. I've seen it. It's good. No need to ever watch it again. Now and there, here and there. Now and then, here and there. Grave of the Fireflies are kind of like that in that they're good, but they are heavy. I don't know if you want to watch that more. It's not something you're probably going to want to go in for a review. It's like, hey, you know what I'd like to watch again? Grave of the Fireflies. Let's grab some popcorn. Oh, nom. Yeah, it's a thing. And that's, again, the great thing about anime is there's light and fluffy, and then there's dark and depressing, and everything in between. And I love the fact that you never know what you're going to get in anime because anime will kill off a character. I mean, I love the real Ghostbusters. I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but you know that when the Turtles go to fight the Foot Clan, um, Donatello isn't going to die, except when he did in the comic book a couple of years ago, because I think Rocksteady hit him with a goddamn sledgehammer or something like that, busted his shell wide open. But in the cartoon, in the very early 90s, I think, I mean, no matter how bad it got, you knew the Turtles weren't going to die. You knew the Ghostbusters weren't going to die. But in anime, they might kill some of these characters off. That happens. They don't always do it. It's not guaranteed, but the possibility is there. Spoilers for a show that's probably 15 years old now, if I can even remember what it's called. Maho something. It's about a school that it's basically Xavier's school for the gifted, but for magic users. In this world, status is basically decided by how much magic you have, and each person, if you have magic ability, you basically have a certain number of spells you can cast, and then you die. Like, I have a magic power of 10,000, which means I can cast a spell 10,000 times, and then I drop dead. Well, one kid has, like, enormous magic power, but he's only got, like, 8 casts. He can only cast things 8 times before he dies. Oh, Gurren Lagann. Yeah, I've seen the first few episodes of that. That one's fun. You know, a giant robot anime that I actually kind of enjoyed that I hear no one talk about? Duel. Another one with a really fun opening theme song. Duel's pretty good. What was I talking about? Oh, Maho. Is it Maho Robotic? Something like... Maybe. I don't remember. No. Maho Robotic's something else. That's the maid one, right? No, this... I'm thinking of it... No, the school... So the kid has 8... It's another harem anime, because so everyone wants to jump this, like, 12-year-old's bones because they want his genetic lineage, because their offspring will be very powerful. He dies halfway through. Not at the end of the show. It's like a 24-episode show. He dies in episode 12. Dead. And I was like, huh. I did not see that coming. What is the name of that show? I'm pretty sure I don't own it. Otherwise, I'd go to the shelf and look. I think it's got Maho in the title. But I don't remember. Ronan, lyrically see, this sounded familiar. It's another one where the main character dies. Oh, but it's okay. He comes back as a ghost for the second half, so it's fine. Yeah. It's not Maho Romantic. That's the one with that's the battle android maid one. One of them. There's several where there's robot battle maids. Anime's goofy. Anime's fun. God, how do I even search for the name? No idea. This is gonna bug. I'll think of it in like the middle of the night. Let's see. No, it's not. What year in studio? I don't remember. Top 10 best magic school anime of 2021, because there's just so damn many of them. Let's see. Oh, no one has mentioned Naruto, which I don't care for, but that's a popular one. No one mentioned what's the Full Metal Alchemist, another one I don't care for. Nope. Shoot. Oh, this is gonna bug me. This is gonna bug me. Nope, that's not it. Nope. This is a great podcast of me Googling. I'm gonna give this one more. I might have to go through my Animerica magazines. I used to subscribe to an anime magazine. I can't remember what it's called. It wasn't Animerica. Oh crap! I forget what it's called. Oh my god! My brain is dying. That's not it. Nope. Nope. No. 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 It's probably early 2000s. I'm guessing. No. 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 That's not. Shh. Fudge. Oh. I am a bad anime fan, apparently. Oh well, I'll try to figure out what that is and then talk about it. We've been going way past what we try to keep this cast to, so I'll try to figure out what the hell I'm talking about and tell you what it is during the stream tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to kick Ren's butt at the top of the Ambiral Tower, whichever one we're still playing Trails from the Sky SC. We seem to be in the end game, and one of my viewers already purchased Trails in the Sky 3rd for me, so thank you, Jared. So we'll be starting that up after we finish SC, so I probably still... The rate I play, we still probably have at least another month left. But I hit a bunch of shiny palms, and now my characters are about levels 80 and 79, so I might be going into this fight against Ren a wee bit over-leveled, so it should be fun. Alright, so we're going to start the stream tomorrow, regular time, noon Pacific Standard Time, so hope to see you all there. And, hey, thanks for hanging out with me and babbling about anime and other stuff. It's nice to have someone to talk to. Alright, hope you're all having a great weekend, and hope to see you tomorrow for some video game fun. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.